Hello, good evening. Thank you for your company. All right, we know the story by now, don't we? Reform MP Sarah Pochin went on the attack today after making a very valid point, in a bad way, granted, about over-representation in advertising.
Drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people, full of Asian people, full of, people that basically are anything
What's wrong
other
with that,
than
Sarah?
white.
Labour quickly seized on the opportunity to slam Pochin, and who'd blame them after she gave them an open goal pretty much with her clumsy delivery of what is actually a factual statement. That was mistake one. Her second mistake was the apology. She said, "My comments on a Talk TV phone-in earlier today were phrased poorly and I unreservedly apologise for any offence caused, which was not my intention." She actually went on to give a good and detailed explanation behind what she was actually trying to say. But the apology, of course, as ever, wasn't good enough for the left. It never is. They're too ungracious to accept people make mistakes or misspeak or make their point in a clumsy way like Sarah Pochin did, which is why she should never have bothered in the first place. Health Secretary Wes Streeting joined Labour's chorus of condemnation on the BBC.
I think what she said was a disgrace. I think it was racist, and the deafening silence from her party leader says it all.
Interesting. This is the same Health Secretary, by the way, who once apologised himself for a litany of tweets that culminated in his wishes to throw a journalist under a train. Streeting later wrote on X, "Fear of racism has come up on the doorstep more in the last few months than during my last 15 years elected in politics." Well, Reform UK's Sarah Pochin returned fire today after that pretty wet apology the day before, saying, "Dear Wes Streeting, I'm sorry you feel that way. Perhaps you could remind us all how strongly you spoke up when this happened."
Every chief executive of every council and every government department, white. Every director of a department in Scotland, white. Every principal of a college or university in Scotland, white. Every head teacher in Scotland, white. Every chair of a public sector body in Scotland, white. Every High Court judge in Scotland, white. Every present governor in Scotland.
Scotland's Anas Sarwar 5 years ago, and Sarah Pochin's right, isn't she? Where was Wes Streeting and every other man and his dog piping up on social media during that racist Scottish Parliament tirade? Rules for me, but not for thee. Well, it's time to stop apologising, especially when everyone with a rational brain knows the point you were trying to make is totally valid. Because the moment you do, the rabid left seize on it as a weapon against you because they are totally ungracious in the battlefield of ideas and debate. Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today. Well, let's get the take now of George Madgwick, the leader of Reform UK Group on Portsmouth City Council. George, thanks for your company. What was your take on Sarah Pochin's, again, clumsy mistake initially with the wording of her point, which is very valid, but I'm more interested in the apology side of things. Should we just bother not apologising anymore?
I mean, apologies have almost become worthless to the left wing of politics. As you said in your opening speech there, they don't accept it and they just use it as additional fuel to light the fire that they use to spin their narrative. At the end of the day, we can all accept that Sarah made a clumsy mistake in her wording at that piece in time. But as you said before, the point that she was making was factually true. It's factually accurate that the people from the BAME community are disproportionately represented in advertising campaigns. And that was what the question was. But apologising and pandering to the left makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. And I think that she should have just stayed saying it with her chest and just continued.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just need to stay firm, as Robert Jenrick did, I guess, with the comments about the lack of white people in Handsworth in Birmingham, saying there was hardly any white faces around. He didn't apologise, and actually, I applaud Jenrick for doing that. I don't think what he said was racist. I don't think what Sarah Pochin said was racist, although it's easily conceived as racist by the left, especially when you're knee deep in identity politics. And again, I'll just say I think she was clumsy in her delivery, but what she did do was give the likes of Labour, Wes Streeting, just an easy open goal. It was obvious what they were going to do if you handled the comment as she did in that way. Have you heard from people on the doorstep, George, down in Pompey? Any Reform voters, Labour voters? Have they been talking about this poaching incident?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As you probably know, we had Reform's Action Day yesterday across the entire UK, where 450 branches were across the country signing up new members. And these comments come within the situation of that. So we did hear it quite immediately on the doorsteps late last night and early this morning. And but to be honest with you, people don't care. The Reform supporters down here and the people of the thing don't care because, as I say, I think the basis of it is that she was saying a factual point. She was making a factual statement. And the left have made a mountain out of a molehill. They've taken a 20-second clip and run with it. But as you said before, Wes Streeting is of no man to make any criticism of something that they've said in the past in haste. And even David Lammy made a boo-boo a couple of months ago at his own conference where he said that Nigel Farage was part of Hitler Youth that disbanded 20 years before Nigel was born. You know, politicians sometimes make errors with things that they say, and, you know, that's what happens when you're in the middle of a live interview like we are now. It happens sometimes, it was clumsy, but let's move on. And in 2 days' time, we'll have a new big story and everybody will have forgotten about this.
Yeah, indeed. And also Keir Starmer, he never apologised for saying that calls for a rape gang inquiry were a far-right bandwagon. Lucy Powell, his new deputy leader, said something similar. I think it was the rape gang situation was a right-wing dog whistle. We never had any apologies over that. I mean, and for me, as I said, anybody with a rational brain knew the point Sarah Pochin was trying to make. That what Keir Starmer said, smearing millions of British people concerned about the institutional racist rape of working class white girls in Britain, is far, far worse than what Sarah Pochin did.